How does climate change continue to affect communities in the aftermath of a climate-related conflict? Inspired by their faith traditions, in this episode of Peace with the Earth and Each Other, Faith Leadership in Post-Conflict Climate Adaptation, religious actors from Uganda, Colombia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Thailand share how they are addressing post-climate conflict settings to mediate tensions and empower community resilience.
I'm the Reverend Dr. Simon Masiga. In one of my courses I teach to undergraduate, I teach them religion and socioeconomic development. And one of the things that I talk about practically is how religion can shape our values and practices regarding on how we look at environment and people within society.
Bien, mi nombre es Ricardo Esquivia Ballestas, vivo en Colombia, en una zona que se llama Montes de María, que queda en el norte del país, la zona del Caribe. He venido en relación y trabajando con la iglesia menonita desde mi niñez y desde esa época, desde mucho tiempo me ha inquietado el efecto del clima en el conflicto. Nos interesamos en este conflicto, en ese punto de tener relación con conflicto y clima, teniendo en cuenta que la zona donde estamos fue afectada fuertemente por el conflicto armado. Entonces, mucho campesino fue desplazado de su tierra. Entonces, compramos una finca para recibir a los campesinos. Y allí, pues, tuvimos la oportunidad de ver los efectos del conflicto humano en ellos, pero también los efectos del actuar humano en la naturaleza y cómo ese actuar destruía la naturaleza que los afectaba cuando regresaban de su conflicto humano. Entonces, eso nos ha hecho pensar mucho en una simbiosis entre la construcción de paz, es decir, el conflicto humano, con la justicia ambiental o la resiliencia ambiental, ¿no? Las dos se dan porque los conflictos el ser humano los vive en la tierra, en la naturaleza. Es allí donde se desarrollan todos estos conflictos, pero los dos van completamente unidos, no los podemos separar.
My name is Emina Ferliak, and I am based in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And my journey towards addressing conflicts related to climate change began in the context of my work in peace building and interfaith dialogue, particularly in the Bosnia and Herzegovina, but also the broader Balkans region. All of these duties overlap, but I want to put special emphasis here on my duties towards the earth, since the way how I treat the earth affects my relation towards the God, but also affects my relation with the other people. I celebrate God and His grace through protecting what He created and gave to us as a resource, but a resource to be used wisely and sustainably. So I would say that Allah put us as human beings as khalifas, or so-called stewards on this planet. So as a steward, you have the responsibility and you have faith, you have moral and ethical duty to protect, to take care, but also to nurture what is given to you in something that is called amana. So this is how I see earth as an amana, which is given by God to us. And I see that He gave it to us on a temporary basis for a certain time of period, because other people, our descendants, our children, and our grandchildren will come after us and take over this amana, and they will then take care of it.
In our culture, we are taught to be grateful to the Mother Earth, to the Mother Kanka, the water, because in the past we used the water from the canal, from the river. When something happened to ourselves, I mean, mentally, it's just like we need to figure it out what caused this and how we gonna solve the problem at the cost level. And we also have the noble truth and also so many teaching regarding the way that we need to live in peace, not rest in peace, live in peace with nature.
One of the things that come up very strongly as the challenges is resistance by the local community that are victims of climate change. Now, I've observed two things mainly. One of the things I'm going to share about, it's the fear to lose cultural heritage and then the fear to lose their fertile land. Now, majority of these communities where I've talked about floods and mudslides happening are actually very fertile regions which produce a lot of food and very good environment for rearing cattle. So they tend to resist resettlement plans from the government because then they feel like they don't want to leave their original cultural heritage. And because of that, these conflicts have carried on. So people are resettled, and then after a short while, they go back to their original place, try to rebuild their homes because they think that's where they have their ancestral heritage. That's why the aspect of traditional leaders is central here now. So because now the traditional leaders are the ones to help people know how they can sustain their cultural tradition even when they are not on their cultural land where they used to be.
Bien, yo creo que en el puro fondo de los conflictos, siempre está el problema del clima. Siempre se toca de una forma directa o indirecta. Entonces, y sobre todo una vez que se logra un encuentro, un reencuentro entre las personas que han estado en conflicto, es importante que piensen en la naturaleza, en el terreno donde tienen que vivir, porque además de lo que sufren en el conflicto humano, se siente y se vive los efectos en la naturaleza, los efectos en el clima, los efectos en la tierra. Entonces es importante que una comunidad que sale de un conflicto social, de un conflicto humano, piense muy seriamente en lo que deviene.
I have seen firsthand how climate change can also intersect with issues of conflict, displacement, and social injustice. So slowly, we also started to integrate climate and also environmental issues in our peace building work. And one initiative that I would like to share is the one that's called Faith for Earth, Bosnia and Herzegovina, because it was done in cooperation with UNEP, United Nations Environmental Program, and URI, United Religions Initiative. So what we decided is that we bring young people from two different religious communities. One is a Catholic community and the other is Islamic community, so Muslims and Catholics. They were high school students. So we did an educational activity in a city called Bihać, which is one of the places in Bosnia that has one of the rivers, which is like rarely not polluted because most of the rivers in Bosnia are heavily polluted. So we decided to do an educational activity there and to speak about peace, speak about security, and speak about how environment can intersect with these two areas. So we decided also to, invite young people from, again, diverse backgrounds from all over Bosnia and Herzegovina to contribute to the campaign and share with our audience how they practice environmental sustainability in their lives. What do they do in order to, live more sustainably? So we had people who were, speaking about using, sustainable bottles, like the one that I'm using sustainable bags, or using the bikes instead of using the cars, etc., and how they actually contribute to living sustainably, but also taking care for the environment that we have.
In the past, for us, the clean and affordable energy, number 7, right? It's quite hard for us to work on that. Even we try to do many campaigns. And also because of this, it's kind of inspired the manager who work in the temple and also the abbot. So now in the temple, at the very big hall, pavilion hall that are used for religious ceremony, like event regarding funeral and everything, they got the solar cell from the PTT. And the manager told that they got inspired by the way that we work. Right now, because we try to integrate into everyday life, our communication strategy is just like this climate action is everyone's matter.
Yeah.
So we try to bring examples in everyday life, and the way that we change our perspective, it change our communication, it change our action.
I think it's very important that we have in mind that post-conflict recovery in areas which is climate threatened, there are probably some unique challenges compared to other areas. Some of these challenges can actually, recur the disaster and can destabilize progress and somehow hinder further development. For example, after these kinds of conflict, it's hard for people to return to the areas where they lived because the environment degraded. Of course, after the conflicts, the governance in the countries or in the areas can be quite weak. I think we have been saying this for a long time, but I want to emphasize that religious actors can play an essential role in addressing climate-induced conflicts by leveraging their unique position because they are trusted community leaders. There are quite a lot of research done to whom people trust, and I'm speaking from the perspective of the Balkans and the Bosnia and Herzegovina, and religious leaders are among the top ones that people trust to. They trust to religious leaders even more than they trust to the government, than they trust to the institutions. And faith-based organizations can also somehow have the role of mediators. They are also there to create spaces for dialogue, a space where different religious communities come together to discuss shared environmental concerns.
And community dialogue, for me, it's very critical because if people are able to dialogue on questions of coexistence, social cohesion, and stewardship, those are very good avenues for discussing this. And also community dialogues would make people find a common ground for understanding why they should embrace a community that has been displaced by a disaster. We have a Council for Interreligious Dialogue in Uganda, and that Council for Interreligious Dialogue, some of the things they do is to respond to such challenges that emerge, and also promoting peaceful coexistence, and then responding to challenges that face humanity.
Sí, yo pienso que el concepto espiritual, el concepto religioso, influye mucho en el actuar del ser humano. Entonces, si se enseña que estamos somos dueños de la naturaleza, que nos pusieron aquí para dominar todo, para dirigir y hacer lo que queramos, eso es algo que hay que cambiar. Es algo donde entra a jugar un papel importante los líderes y lideresas religiosas, ¿no? De tal manera que entendamos que Dios no ha separado al ser humano de la naturaleza, porque Dios hizo al ser humano, hizo también la naturaleza al tiempo. Por otro lado, las iglesias tienen una gran capacidad de acercar comunidades, de acercar gente, de trabajar con las comunidades. Entonces, esa capacidad de acercamiento, esa capacidad de espiritualidad, esa capacidad de solidaridad, hay que transmitirla a las comunidades para que las comunidades entiendan que deben proteger y cuidar la creación.
So through interfaith initiatives, through religious communities can collaborate, especially young religious actors, because I mostly work with young people. They will lead by example in addressing climate challenges. They will use common values of peace, solidarity, and stewardship, because I believe in most of the religions, we are considered as stewards on this planet, to implement local solutions, again emphasizing local solutions to climate adaptation, while they will foster greater understanding and cooperation across the divides that exist.
And in Buddhism, even we don't believe in God, but we also believe that the cause and effect, independent origination in our everyday life, we rely on each other. I mean, as a society, human to human, and also human to nature, to environment as well.
Yo diría eso, ¿no? Que los líderes tienen que observar con mucho cuidado el mandato divino, interpretarlo en la forma, no en la forma de que nos podemos apropiar de la naturaleza y que todo es nuestro y que nosotros somos los reyes de la naturaleza y que podemos hacer lo que queramos, ¿no? Entonces, si como líderes religiosos nos proponemos construir un mensaje que sea de impacto para que nuestros feligreses, nuestros miembros de las iglesias logren mirar que con esa teología que hemos venido trayendo, ¿no? Hemos venido ayudando a destruir la naturaleza, que estamos cambiando las condiciones del planeta para que viva el ser humano. No vamos a destruir el planeta, eso no tenemos esa capacidad, pero sí las condiciones que nos permiten la vida del ser humano.
In a very practical sense of the word, the mandate to take care of the environment cannot be left to environmental scientists because the environment is our livelihood. Theologically speaking, God created humankind so that humankind may bring life out of the environment. And so our existence is meaningful when we are able to bring life out of the environment. So if we have climate disasters, we have drought, floods, and all tensions that emerge because of climate change, then we may be doing things that are not nurturing life, but other than breeding disaster. And so as religious leaders, it's our mandate to embrace the God-given call for environmental stewardship and also the God-given mandate of promoting social cohesion between humanity and the environment and humanity with themselves.